Hey everyone, welcome to Boosted Tutor. I'm Brandon and got something very cool today. So, another YouTuber, MTG Young Mage, he contacted me and put him up to a little challenge. He said, hey, let's each get one of the new Planeswalkers decks. So there's the Liliana and the Gideon. I got the Gideon. And he said, let's try and improve upon them. But there are a few rules. We cannot take out any exclusive cards, which really wish we could. And we're going to do two versions of the deck. One where it's only adding $5 and one where it's only adding $15. So they're going to be very cheap decks. But I think, this is like if you bought the intro deck, you weren't very happy with it, maybe here's something a little spice up a little bit more. So, yeah. So it is standard. So it's not really my forte. But you know how you get better at something? You train. Come on, Doc. So we ended up going with a Naya Exert deck. The original Gideon deck was trying to be like a Boros aggro Exert deck, but it's hard when you can't attack every turn because you're exerting, creatures aren't untapping, and you have a lot of 3 and 4 drops that aren't very powerful. So ended up cutting a lot of the red because the red Exert at common uncommon, not that great. So add some green because it was great for Exert cards, and let's go over what we kept. So we have the exclusive cards. We had to keep these. That was part of the deal. First exclusive card, Companion of the Trials. There are 3 of these in this deck, and I could not cut them. 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer isn't great, and for an ability that you can't use till late in the game, and even then, probably just use Gideon anyway, kind of sucks. Next exclusive, there was a playset of Graceful Cat. Ooh, that is not a very aggressive card, and there are 4 of them, and I could not cut them. This would definitely be one I would cut. Next, we have the enchantment Gideon's Resolve. So 5 mana for +1/+1 to all your creatures. That's not great, but it's not a bad turn 5 in this deck to just pump your whole team. And if you don't have Gideon, you get him out. If he's dead, you get him back. And of course, we have Gideon Martial Paragon. 5-drop Planeswalker with 5 loyalty when it enters the battlefield. It's +2, untap all creatures you control. Those creatures get +1/+1 till their turn. So there's a way to untap your creatures, at least in this. It was like the only way almost, besides the companion. His O ability is his usual Gideon ability, and his -10, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn, tap all creatures your opponents control. So basically an Alpha Strike, you do this, you're gonna try and win the game basically. Not great, but not horrible. And our last exclusive card, strangely enough, was Stone Quarry. This is the dual land for red and white, and it's a playset, which I'll take. We're in 9 colors, 3 colors, you kind of need all the dual lands you can get. Alright, let's talk about the cards I kept from the original deck. There's Devoted Cropmate. So I added another one of these for a total of 2. Really like him. While your creatures are going to be dying early, especially the Death Touch guy and the one that ups your team +1/+0. So it's a great way to get those back, reuse them. Glorybound Initiate, this guy is amazing. 2 mana for a 3/1, and it's not great, but his Exert ability is +1/+3 and lifelink, so he's a 4/4 when he attacks. This card is so good. Add another one for a total of 2. Wish I could add more, but $5 budget. Honored Crop Captain, this is the 1 and a white for a 3/2. Pumps your whole team in power. Will probably die when it attacks, but if it gets an extra 2 or 3 damage in, that's great. And with Devoted Cropmate, it can come back later in the game and just do it again. Tile Crop Elite, just so good if you can have Vigilance on this thing. Oh, every turn you're just giving your team +1/+1, and it's getting over all the ground for 3 damage in the air. Pretty nice. Cartouche of Zeal, so +1/+1 haste. Maybe that's fine. It's not great. Probably not gonna use the haste that much, but making it so a creature can't block is very nice because there's a lot of just attacking on the ground in this deck. It's cheap, so that's a nice way to bounce your trials that you'll have. There were 2 in the original deck, but I cut it down to 1 because I don't really like the haste part too much. Trial of Zeal. I mean, it's not the best removal. It's sorcery speed, 3 damage, but I didn't want to take the deck apart too much. Just add like, a Magma Jet or something like that. So you can add those, but I wanted to try and keep the deck a little bit together. So I kept the trials in, and they can be reused, so that's nice. And that is it for what I kept. Now, what I added, mainly green stuff. Let's start off with On-Crop Champion. So just an amazing thing to have in an Exert deck. You need ways to untap your creatures or give them vigilance. This untaps all your creatures. He stays exerted, but you have multiples, you know, just goes back and forth. There's only 2 in the deck because it's light on the mana, so I didn't want to have too many 4-drops, but such a good card. Beastcaller Savant. So I needed a mana dork just because light on mana, and there's a lot of creatures in this deck. And also it's Naya color, so I need something that can make any colored mana. There's plenty of ones that make just green mana, but I need any color. It's fine, it's not my first choice, but it'll have to do because it is also very cheap. Bitterblade Warrior. So it's a cheap guy, and it can get Death Touch when you exert it, which, you know, if it hits something, it's gonna kill it, which is very nice. Maybe they don't want the creature to die, so it gets through, gets 3 damage. It's pseudo removal, and with the Devote Cropmate, it can come back later in the game, and it still has Death Touch, so still great, even then. I added 3 of them. I had 4 originally, but I had to cut 1 for a Cartouche. I added 2 Cartouche of Solidarity, aura that gives your creature +1/+1 and first strike, which, hey, that's not bad. And it also makes a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance, so it's making more bodies for you attack. If you can pump up your guys, hey, I'll take that. And it also, it's cheap for 1 white, so it's bouncing those trials. I had 2 of something, which I thought should be in the original deck, but for some reason was not. Trial of Solidarity. I mean, yeah, it's only a sorcery speed, 1 turn, +2/+1, and vigilance, but, you know, that's a good attack. And the fact you can bounce it, use it later on. I added 1 Cast Out. 4 mana, a little expensive, but it does get rid of anything. And it has Flash, which is very nice. Cycling for 1 white's okay if you really need it. Hopefully you don't. I would add 2 of these, except they were $1 each, and, you know, budget concerns. Also, we have 2 Prepare to Fight. Hey, you're untapping a creature, only 1, but still, it's getting a bump, +2/+2. And it's also getting a lifelink. It's doing a lot of damage, getting you some life. Maybe it's blocking to just kill a creature. Maybe you're just doing it to reuse the exert ability next turn. Who cares? I like it a lot. And then, of course, the fight is sorcery. This can only be cast from the graveyard, but I'll take that too. I mean, this deck really needs removal, and that's a great way to get, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone. Lastly, we have Engineered Might. It has 2 modes. Mainly, you want it for creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So there we go. We're giving our whole team +2/+2, and they're all not tapping for the exert ability. That's amazing. You definitely want this card. I am only running 1 of them because 5 mana is a lot in this deck, and you get this early, and it's just unplayable, sadly. And then for our lands, we have 2 Evolving Wilds because, hey, it's a way to get some basics if we need it. 3 forests, 3 mountains, 5 plains, 2 sandstone bridges, which is nice. Comes to play tapped, which kind of sucks, but I'll take that trade-off for +1/+1 vigilance in this deck. 2 Timber Gorges and 3 Tranquil Expanses because you're going to take all the duels you can get. Sadly, these ones kind of play tapped, so they're very slow, so you don't want all of them actually. You just want, you know, 2 or 3. For the $15 version, pretty easy. Take out 2 of the Trial of Solidarity, add 2 Always Watching, which are sadly $5 each now, so there's $10 total. Take out the 2 Beastcaller Savants, add 2 Channeler Initiate. Those are $2 each, so we're at $14. And since we took out 2 of the trials, we can take out a Cartouche of Solidarity and add a Cast Out. Pretty much keep the deck the same, just add the better cards which cost more. So, deck, kind of a mess, but, you know, standard's not my thing, but it was a lot of fun to do. Thank you so much, MTG Young Mage. If you want to check out his video, actually, he'll have a deck tech on his Lilion deck. I'll put a link down below. Check out all his other videos. Just does so much great stuff over there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, booster_tutor, and see you next draft.